Hey, good evening. It's Red Pill 66, and welcome to my show for today. It is February 12th, and it's Friday. And normally Fridays I like to go out, have pizza and a couple of beers, but that won't happen tonight. Kind of sadly, don't want to leave my 11-year-old golden retriever at home alone. He's not feeling well. He doesn't really want to eat. He's been throwing up since last night. Luckily, he hasn't thrown up since this morning, but he hasn't had anything to eat or to drink. So I do kind of want to make him rice and some chicken and see if he eats that and how that does in his belly. And I will go from there. So today's show is brought to you by me. I'm only kidding. I needed a little bit of a pick me up today. So I don't know if you've tried Rockstar Zero Energy drinks. I love these things. This here is silver ice, naturally flavored, one carb, erythritol in it, which is a substitute I use for sweetener. And it gives me a little bit of a pickup. So, I'm going to begin this, and I'm going to try not to stutter so much today, with some fun information. Now, I read this today, and it just kind of cracks me up. The CCP has banned the BBC from airing anywhere in China. Now, many people don't normally get them in their homes because of how much censorship there is, but you could actually stream it in hotels where you can't anymore. And this actually is payback from the fact that the UK banned a particular channel, and I don't remember which channel it was, but it was a Chinese news channel, which had a ton of propaganda, and it was all about the CCP. And it just kind of cracks me up that they're banning the BBC for propaganda and lies when the CCP is the biggest culprit in doing that. It just kind of cracks me up. Yeah, I have no going nowhere else with that. So you've heard about so many people being censored, people being deplatformed? Well, Twitter finally went after Project Veritas. And I'm going to show you the article that I came across today, and we'll go over it real quick. I'm not gonna read it through the whole way, just because if you know how things are with me, my reading really, really, really does suck. But to make a long story short, it's getting serious. Twitter has permanently suspended Project Veritas over report on big tech. Now, Red State put this out. I will have a link to this in my description, so that way you can get the article for yourself. Pretty much, the reason they got suspended was because they had gone after um, Facebook's vice president, Guy Rosen, on his statements for the freezes on Facebook. So, say you put out a comment, you put up a post, and they think it may present hate speech, they could put a freeze on it so that no comments could be made. Well, that leads to a whole different it leads to a whole different set of being censored. And let's just say that you were a Donald Trump supporter and you just happen to put something up about Donald Trump. Well, that gets flagged with their algorithms and they just freeze everything. And then they go through their reports and then they eventually say you can't put that up there, or you get put on into a file. It's just one more way of censoring people. Oh, I gotta get back to that article. There we are. Okay. So the account at Project Veritas was permanently suspended for repeated violation of Twitter's private information policy. Now, what they're saying in this article was that when Project Veritas went to Guy Rosen's house, they actually showed his house number and said that they were giving out private information. And what Project Veritas is fighting back with is, yeah, it may have showed his house number, but nowhere did we have a street sign. Nowhere did we have what state, city, town, whatever in there at all. So how would you know where he lives? Unlike different people on Twitter putting out people's phone numbers, their addresses, places they work, so you could go after them. These people are still on Twitter. And what it actually is they're just going after Project Veritas because of their hit piece they did on tech companies, and going after Twitter and having Jack Dorsey right there on a Zoom call. If you haven't seen it, you need to look up Project Veritas. I think eventually you probably won't be able to find him on YouTube, because I think they'll eventually take him off of there. Because usually it's one where first it's Twitter, then it's Facebook, then it'll be YouTube, then you won't be able to find him on Google. So they'll find other ways of doing it, either on BitChute, Telegram. They'll get it out there. And different news channels will actually carry it. And that was a quick one. And I put that up there as well. So let's look up this one. Oh, this was actually really good. Did you hear about the White House spokesperson being suspended after threatening a Politico reporter? I'm going to share a screen right now to go over that article. There it is. Here we are. If I have them up there just right. Now, this was put out by the Epoch Times today. White House spokesperson suspended after threatening Politico reporter. Zachary Stieber. I tend to come across a lot of his articles. The White House has suspended a spokesperson who was romantically involved with a reporter after a report emerged alleging he threatened a different reporter working on a story about the relationship. TJ Ducklow has been placed on a week-long suspension without pay, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, Raggedy Ann, as one of my friends call her, said in a series of social media posts. In addition, When he returns, he will no longer be assigned to work with any reporters at Politico, she added. Ducklow is dating Alexei McCammond, an Axios reporter. Politico reporter Tara Palmieri, working on a story about the relationship, reached out to Ducklow. According to a report published earlier Friday, Ducklow threatened Palmieri at one point, telling her, "I will destroy you." Ducklow has apologized to the reporter with whom he had the heated conversation about his personal life, Psaki said, adding, "He is the first to acknowledge this is not the standard of behavior set out by the president. It's just because it got out there, because I think they threaten a lot of people, to be honest with you." Biden told a group of administration officials last month that he would fire them if he ever heard about them threatening another person badly. "I'm not joking when I say this. If you are ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect or talk down to someone, I promise I will fire you on the spot," Biden said. On the spot, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. That's been missing in a big way in our last 4 years. And that cracks me up. That man has got no dignity at all. But they're going to start to eat their own, I'm telling you. Let's see. His relationship was disclosed in a profile published by People magazine. The relationship started in November of 2020. "We both realized we felt the same way," Ducklow told the magazine. "We're both really happy, and we wanted to do it the right way." Both said they alerted their bosses. McCammond was then reassigned, which is good. But how do you know, being with a reporter and you're part of the press corps or just part of the administration altogether, being a spokesperson, you're going to give some insider information to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever. So things are not all that much fun for some of the people in the Biden administration. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that they will start to take some people out. But let's just see how far this goes. I do have some other stories that I don't have, that I just didn't have time to make my banners because things weren't going the way I wanted them to. Oh, I can actually probably do this now because I thought it was kind of interesting. Let's see. Let's do this here, and I'll put that up. A 90-year-old man takes out $10,000 in ads to tell AT&T CEO about slow service. This was actually in, I believe, MSNBC. I'm going to verify that in a second. Yeah, NBC News. This was out today, and it was by Minnie Yvonne Burke. A 90-year-old California man frustrated with how slow his AT&T internet service took out 2 newspaper ads totaling $10,000 to tell the company's CEO that he needs to do a better job of providing North Hollywood neighborhood with faster speed. Aaron M. Epstein said he has been an AT&T customer since 1960 and only started having having issues with his internet speed in the last 5 years when internet streaming became widely available. He said he's paying for 3.5 Mbps, but it couldn't handle streaming. When I would watch a movie on Netflix or some other streaming service, it was like a slideshow. It would start and stop. Very frustrating, he said on a phone interview Friday. Epstein said he started calling the company to ask for faster service, but was told it wasn't available in his area. Epstein said he didn't want to change to another internet provider because he was concerned about having to change his phone number and email address, so he decided to take out 2 ads in the Wall Street Journal to vent his frustration. The spokesperson for the Wall Street Journal confirmed that the ads ran in the February 3rd edition of the newspaper, one in New York and the other in Texas, where AT&T has a headquarters in Dallas. The spokesperson declined to comment on how much Epstein paid for the ads. And here's a copy of the paid advertisement, an open letter to Mr. John T. Stankey, CEO at AT&T. Mr. Stankey, I want to say Stanky, but Stan Key. AT&T provides itself as a leader in electronic communications. Unfortunately, for the people who live in North Hollywood, California, AT&T is now a major disappointment. Many of our neighbors are creative technical workers in the Universal Warner Brothers Disney Studios in the adjacent cities of Burbank and our city. We need to keep up with current technology. We have looked to AT&T to supply us with fast internet service. Yet, although AT&T has advertised its speeds up to 100 Mbps for other neighborhoods, the fastest now available to us from AT&T is only 3 Mbps. Your competitors now have speeds over 200 Mbps. Why is AT&T, a leading communications company, treating us so shabbily in North Hollywood? Sincerely, Aaron M. Epstein, an AT&T customer since 1960, with his phone number and his email address and who it was paid by. That is like absolutely brilliant. I need to see if they ever responded back. Okay, that's kind of funny. The day the ads ran, Epstein said he received a call from Stansky's office asking him how they could resolve the situation. Earlier this week, he received a surprise. 2 AT&T technicians who arrived at his home to set up faster internet speed. It's definitely a lot faster, and it's everything I expect of it, he said of his new service. Epstein said that some people have praised him for what he did, while others criticized him over the hefty price of his ads. I'm not a frivolous spender of money, and a $10,000 means a lot to me. But this particular instance, it was money well spent. And in all actuality, people have been, for quite a while, people have been being raked over the coals with these internet service providers. And I know I had major issues here with Comcast. And just kind of the area I live in, we kind of live in what we call a valley, just because we're down the bottom of 2 hills. My neighbors were saying they had huge problems with internet. And I had Comcast, quote, Xfinity, to my house numerous times. And I do a lot of work from home. And as you can see, I do videos from home as well. And because I would constantly be pulling my hair out, shutting internet off on just about everything, so to help get my speeds up. It was a struggle. And when I finally kind of had enough and I went to Comcast, said, you know what, I'm done. I mean, I got rid of my service, no cable TV in my house. I said, I do need the internet for work, but at this point, I can just go to the office and work. And, you guys can, more or less kiss my butt. Well, what they said is, you had been with us for so long, we can give you our highest internet speed for X amount, a month. I said, And then it gave me basic cable with it. Well, I eventually got rid of the basic cable because I don't need it, so I just have the internet. I was still struggling with it until they put a mesh system into my house, and it is a lot better. To the point that my neighbor who has children, and if they're out in the yard and they want to do a movie night, they had the same problem I did with no coverage. Well, mine is so strong now. She's like, Deb, is there any way I can get on your service? So I set up a guest thing and I turn it on when she's going to use it. And then when it's done, I shut it off. And had no lag in my system at all when they were doing it. And she could not believe how much faster it was. So I told her, I'll tell you what to get, and I'll help you set it up in your house. Now, I am no computer wizard and internet wizard by any stretch of the imagination. However, I did a lot of research on YouTube on what I need to do for a mesh system. Now, I have a Deco, DECO, and I have one in my bedroom that is with my Asus router, which is not wireless, and that's directly plugged in. And then I have another one in my living room, and then I have one upstairs where my office is and my wife's office is. And we have had no problem with internet speeds. It doesn't matter how many things I put on this, it works great. And for the longest time, I didn't want anything to do with doing these services because, in all honesty, I didn't think I didn't think it was going to be as easy as it was. So, and then of course I have, with that, I also have Waze cameras set up, some in my house, outside of my house. I have a Ring doorbell, and I also have light bulbs and things that come on that are hooked up to the internet, so they come on at a certain time. I've had no issues. I could be doing that and streaming on my TVs, and depending on what kind of link I have or what I'm actually watching, that's when it tends to slow down. So one of the things that I do to get free TV is ustvgo.tv, and it is free. But what they started to do was it was getting harder to use it, so they wanted you to get their VPN, which is NordVPN, which was great because that's what I was using anyway. So I just signed in with it. And I think sometimes it depends on how it's going on their end on how well it comes in. I do it on my phone. So if I'm really bored, I can put something on. on my computer. Um, and I've saved so much money. Um, I have Roku, so I get a lot of free stuff that way too. But I am going to end my stream here. But I hope you have a good night. I have some stuff that I need to do, and it's going to be a short broadcast for today. Thank you for coming in and enjoying it. See you soon.